Hello, and welcome to the Fast Book Pod channel, where you'll find the best book summaries. You'll watch book summaries just like watching a movie. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos for in-depth reviews of great books. Let's get to the book summaries.
Have you ever made a small, prideful decision that you instantly regretted? One of those moments where your ego gets the better of you, and then you spend the rest of the day, or week, or even your life trying to undo the damage. Stefan Zweig's novella, Amok Runner, is about exactly that. It isn't a story of grand battles or epic plot twists. It's a quiet, claustrophobic confession whispered in the dead of night, and it explores how a single moment of wounded pride can trigger an unstoppable spiral into ruin. The story starts on an ocean liner sailing from Asia to Europe. Our narrator notices a man who is clearly haunted by something. He avoids everyone, paces the deck at night, and seems to be trapped in a state of unbearable tension. One night, under the cover of tropical darkness, this man suddenly approaches the narrator and begins to talk. It's not a conversation. It's a desperate confession, like he's finally releasing a poison he can no longer hold inside. He reveals he asked a doctor who has been living in a remote colonial outpost in the tropics. You can almost feel the suffocating heat and crushing loneliness as he speaks. He was once a promising physician in Europe, but a personal scandal led him to this self-imposed exile. For years, his life was a monotonous blur of humidity, isolation, and quiet resentment. He felt his spirit decaying, his ambition shriveling up in the relentless heat. He was a man slowly being erased by his own life. And then, one day, a woman walked into his office. She was English, wealthy, and carried herself with an air of cool, controlled confidence. She wasn't there to beg for help. She was there to give an order. She was pregnant. The child wasn't her husband's, and she needed a secret, immediate abortion. She didn't appeal to his compassion or his medical duty. Instead, she offered him a huge sum of money, assuming he could be bought. And that was the moment everything shattered. It wasn't the request that enraged him. It was her tone. It was the assumption that he was just another commodity for sale in this forgotten corner of the world. After years of feeling invisible and insignificant, his pride erupted like a volcano. He wanted to see her perfect composure crack. He wanted her to plead, to acknowledge his power. So, instead of acting like a doctor, he acted like a wounded man. He told her he would do it, but not for money. He would do it only if she humbled herself, if she came to him not as a client, but as a supplicant. She stiffened, her face turned to ice, and with her dignity intact, she simply stood up and left. The second the door closed, the rage vanished, replaced by pure horror. He knew instantly what a terrible mistake he'd made. He had let his pathetic pride override his duty as a doctor. He had turned away a woman in desperate need. And in that very moment, he began to run. He uses the word amok. In Southeast Asia, an Amok Runner is someone who flies into a blind, murderous rage, attacking everything in their path until they're stopped. The doctor says he was seized by that same force, but his frenzy was turned inward. He had to find her. He had to fix his mistake. He raced through the town, his mind a fever of obsession and regret. But it was too late. His rational mind was gone, replaced by a frantic, compulsive need for redemption. Days later, he learned the horrifying truth. She had found someone else a Bakali practitioner. The procedure had gone terribly wrong. She was dying. He ran to her side, this time not in obsession, but in terror. The scene was grim. She was feverish, bleeding, and beyond saving. Now it was his turn to beg. He pleaded for the chance to help, to atone, but she knew. They both knew that if he had just said yes that first day, none of this would have happened. But even as she lay dying, she had one final urgent request. Her reputation must be protected. Her husband must never know the truth. There could be no scandal, no autopsy. He agreed, his heart shattering. After she died, the colonial authorities started asking questions. A sudden death always causes whispers. The doctor knew an autopsy would reveal everything. So, at the funeral, in a final, desperate act to honor her last wish, he hid the incriminating medical evidence inside her coffin, sealing the secret with her body forever. But his Amok run wasn't over. He felt the weight of her death on his soul. He believed with absolute certainty that he had killed her with his pride. He arranged to travel on the very same ship that was carrying her coffin back to Europe. He describes watching the coffin being hoisted by a crane, swinging over the dark ocean. And in that moment, something inside him finally snapped. He couldn't stay among the living while she was sealed in that box. As the coffin hung suspended over the water, he threw himself forward, clinging to it as it plunged into the sea. And that's how his confession ends. The narrator realizes the man he was speaking to has just described his own final act. Soon after, the doctor vanishes from the ship, completing his tragic run. What makes this story so chilling?
It was a very good book. Did you like it too? You can write your thoughts in the comments section. See you in the next summary.